From the block to the boardroom, listening close. They're spilling all the secrets, the highs and the lows. HR blunders, they'll laugh, they'll inspire. Two sisters on fire, lifting the empire.
All right, all right. Welcome back to another edition of HR Blunders. How are
Yes,
you doing, Jazz, the life engineer?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing good, and I'm the HR whisperer. And I guess I have some news to share. Yes, I am the HR whisperer, and Edmund Enterprises officially owns the trademark for the HR whisperer, the logo,
Yay.
as well as the words the HR whisperer.
Oh, wow.
We
Awesome.
also own the domain, the hrwhisperer.com, as well as
Yay.
other various nomenclatures of websites out there. So, look, often imitated, never duplicated. So,
All
beware.
right.
You're trying to steal my stuff, okay?
Oh, all right.
It took 11 months.
But yeah, I know it definitely takes time.
hmm
It does.
Yeah, but you gotta own your name. Like that's
Yeah.
one thing in business as you begin to build a brand
Yes.
and following and things like that. You gotta own your name.
So
So
true.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But let's get into our topic for tonight. Let's launch us into our topic, please.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I think a lot of us have heard about the whole quiet quitting movement, but we've got a new buzzword now, and it's quiet cracking. And, we're going to talk about what is quiet cracking, and how to implement a self care strategy to prevent quiet cracking. So,
Mm, okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness. They keep coming out with these different names and terminology and things like that. So now we're on to the quiet cracking. So tell us what
quiet.
quiet cracking is.
So it's a workplace phenomenon, right? While you're still performing your daily task and your job, you're going about, and that's what makes this kind of different than quiet quitting, because quiet quitting, you weren't performing your daily task, right? So this one, you're kind of performing your daily task, you're doing everything the way that you're supposed to do, but you're having a slow kind of erosion of job satisfaction, kind of due to lack of opportunity, poor communication, and just feeling unappreciated. So that's kind of what's happening there. You're doing your work, you're doing the work, but you don't feel appreciated. You're starting to feel stuck. That was one of the core things. You're starting to feel stuck. And you're starting to have a change in job satisfaction.
So I
So
have to ask this because I'm a realist. I have to ask it. Do you think this is really warranted, or are people being melodramatic?
I think that there's been some shifts with companies in their culture that is leaving an open door for the quiet cracking. And one way I'll say this is because we talk about this a lot with the younger generation, and almost the participatory trophy generation. We've gotten to this place where everybody feels they need to get the same thing whether they've done the same level of work or not.
Okay.
And I personally, it's funny to me that we're starting to get into this quiet cracking when they are heavy into this, wanting to give everybody the same level of raise and bonus and etc., no matter what level of work they're doing. I mean, how can people not be disgruntled when you know that you're going above and beyond, and Bobby is not, and you all are getting the same merit raise and bonus? I mean, I think that that plays a part in it. I really do.
Okay.
That's one cultural shift I've seen that's happened over the last few years that's different. That kind of
Mhm.
fosters to me this kind of quiet quitting. And then I think it's just a shift in our culture on how people feel they need to be valued at work. I just think some generations just don't care about, didn't care about being valued at certain levels at work the way maybe newer generations do. I think that that's a part of it as well. Um, I think some of those older generations really we were about getting into work and getting our head, putting our head down and doing the work and not worrying about it. And I think that that's kind of the difference. Um, you know, as for
Yeah.
the opportunities, I feel like the opportunities are kind of stagnant right now, unfortunately, because we're not getting the flow of people retiring the way they once were because the stock market is getting shaky and things are going on. So people are like, oh, let me put it off another year. Let me put it off. Well, as mature workers do that doesn't leave space for people to move up, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's a part of it too. So it's a lot of things happening kind of in the corporate space that's kind of making the perfect storm to me for this quiet cracking.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I agree. Do you think that you've seen examples of quiet cracking?
Yeah, I mean, because when I looked at some of the examples in some of the articles, they kind of gave examples of, people that have experienced quiet cracking. And it is, I mean, people are just a lot shorter with you when you're doing the work than they once were, maybe a few years ago. And you can tell it's just people are under a different level of stress.
Because they're being disengaged. So I think the difference is they're disengaging still, but they may not be aware of it, is what I'm gathering from the quiet cracking as a result of the pressures they're feeling versus
Yeah,
quitting
they
their
may realize that they realize something is off. Maybe they don't know what's off. And it was amazing. They were talking about how close this quiet cracking is to burnout. It's different, but it
yeah.
has some of the same similar, and I said, yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
makes sense to me.
yeah, I think I've seen some of this, but some examples that I've seen have been colluded with delusion. Because so again, because I get to see complaints and things, right? And folks will say, I'm being like my boss is threatening me, he's threatening my job, he's threatening me. And then when we look into it, right, my team, I'll get somebody on my team to investigate, look into it. And then sometimes there are some legitimate cases. But I will tell you, as of late, over the last year, a lot of times what's happening is the individual is not meeting the mark. Their boss or supervisor is attempting to hold them accountable. And they're
Okay.
giving them some straight talk and they're letting them know, like, if this does not improve, like, we may not be able to keep you here. Like, you may
Hmm.
not be able to continue on with the organization. And they are just taking it, oh my God, my job, they're threatening me, they're harassing me, they're threatening me. It's a hostile work environment. And it's like, again, it's delusional because it's like, one, you don't even have the skill set to even be in this role. And again, I think a lot of these, I just go back to this because all the years people used to try to like get at me, like, oh my goodness, money isn't everything. It's everything. Because over the years, as the economy has shifted and tightened, why do you laugh? It all goes back. What does it all
Yeah.
go back to?
Yeah.
The
I
Almighty
mean,
God.
that's why we're there. I mean, that's the whole reason we're there.
Yeah, because see, over the years, as the economy shifted, as
Right.
we had inflation increase,
Right.
people they understood I need to increase my income.
Right.
So they started again because now you have AI technology and things to help you with your resume. So now they start going and applying for these jobs that have a higher dollar amount on them,
Right.
even though they know they don't really have the skill set
Mm.
to even really be in that job, and it's a stretch,
Okay.
right? And again, and it's okay to have a stretch assignment, right? Because you want to push yourself self to grow. But some of these folks are trying to stretch 3 and 4
Yeah.
5 steps ahead. And so it becomes glaring. Like it's very easy to see. Like if you are operating and functioning as a coordinator, then that is very different than a manager.
Right.
Okay. Or an engineering technician, right?
Yep.
Because I know we're getting dropping the kids off. Look like we go on a rant because we're dropping the kids off again. I talked about this. Know what you majoring in. You don't really want that engineering technician degree. Okay. So you're going to have to buckle up and stay out of some of them parties so you can stay on the real engineering. Because the reality is there's a pay difference.
It
And
is.
some of the larger companies, like we don't really, we're not checking for that. There really is a difference in the curriculum. Like it has a few less of the physics classes and a few less of the math classes than the traditional engineering. And sometimes they'll start out on that engineering track, and when they see they can't make that, then they dial it down. And the parents are still happy because they're like, "Oh, I still have an engineering degree." No, that's different. It's different. You're a technician, okay? And so let me stay on that as the example. So again, if you have somebody that maybe has been functioning as a technician, because a technician is the one that's going to be running your test, right? They're going to be in the engineering world. They're going to be running your test, doing the hands-on, the manual labor, right? Your manager, lead engineer, they're going to be interpreting the data. They're going to be creating the formulas, interpreting the data, using the data to come up with strategy to create fixes for whatever said issue is, right? That we need a solution for. Typically, the technician doesn't get into that area.
Right.
So their muscles have not been stretched. Their mind has not been stretched. They haven't developed that competency, right? To even think strategy, and they don't have the exposure. And so again, if someone with one were to try to make that huge of a jump, you're going to see that in the first few months. Because every time an issue comes up or there's a question, eyes are going to get big. Or when you're in meetings, they always have to, I'm going to have to get back to you on that. Like you're going to
Yeah.
notice they don't know anything. They're always going to have to go back. I mean, I'm going to have to go back and look at that report. I'm going to have to get back to you on that, you know. And those are the cues that maybe you have stepped outside of your reach.
Yeah.
And I know it's a lot of people, and I think they got to be honest with themselves. They have put themselves in that predicament, but it's hard,
Mm.
right? Now they've gotten used to, because I've seen people that I know, because I should have my shirt on today, the Men Lie, Women Lie, but LinkedIn don't, the HR Whisperer edition. But I can look at LinkedIn and I can see, because I know I just have it here, you know, and on the dome. Like I can look at a title and I know what the range should be, right, of pay. And I've seen where people have like jumped, and it's not like a gap of like, oh, okay, like a $10,000 increase. I've seen like 30,000 and beyond
Mm.
increases, and you know that's a stretch. You know that's a stretch.
Well, the thing with it is, I mean, one of my mentors used to always say, I mean, your income, is not going to exceed your personal development. So, um, and even professional development. So,
Yeah,
and what that really means is, you can jump these salaries, but if you don't have the emotional intelligence, if you don't have the critical thinking skills, if you don't have right, you're just not going to be able to sustain in that role, right, and execute the way that you'll need to. So that's a big issue with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't know what they don't know, right, when
Yeah.
they get into some of those roles.
Or they go from
Um,
a small environment to this large because they
yeah,
had the title in the smaller environment. And
yeah,
maybe the recruiting team would sleep at the wheel and they didn't vet enough
okay,
because some titles in certain industries are inflated. Like
okay,
bank, right? You're VP, but you're making 80K, right? You got the big title, but it doesn't equate to the same as like a VP in the manufacturing world.
right,
It's stark differences because there you can have, again, six figures, but then you also can have multi-million dollar salaries, annual
right,
salaries, plus their multi-million dollar bonuses.
yeah,
And so, again, someone can have a title in one world, in one industry, and then they seek an opportunity in another. And again, there's going to be that huge gap. And especially when you start looking at those leadership roles,
yeah,
it's all about the personal, professional development because it's a given that you should have the functional down. You should have
right.
the functional depth and
Yeah,
knowledge.
the technical skills you should have down, but it's the soft skills that make or break you.
Yeah, because you're not operating in the technician. And then that's another way like you'll begin to see as well, because you'll see a leader, again, if they're still operating in that technician level, like the hands-on, like they shouldn't. They should be focused more on strategy.
Hmm.
They shouldn't even necessarily know all of the details, but they need to know enough to be able to tell if we're on the right
Yeah,
track.
the project is off the rails, or yeah, exactly.
If I need
Yeah,
to make some adjustments or
yeah,
if I need to bring someone else in and who I
yeah,
need to bring in. Like that
right.
is your role. That's very much different than that, again,
Then
lower
physically doing the job, right?
load, shorter vantage point, more specific, specified role. So I think I would say that part of the quiet cracking may be cracking that people have brought onto themselves, albeit like again they may have had good reasons, like I said, trying to increase their income to be able to keep up with the rise of inflation, right, to be able to
Right,
just survive and make it and even sometimes thrive today.
right.
Yeah, so I think there is some of that. Like, what are your thoughts around like what should people be doing if they find that they are quiet cracking?
Yeah, so I think some of the strategies I think is you've got to some of it to me with people is rooted in uh the fact that a lot of times, familiarity breeds contempt. And what that means is, we get comfortable in a job and then we start to take for granted some of the things that we do have. And that's just with anything, in a relationship, in our family, in life, you tend to start to take things for granted that have just that have become commonplace for you.
Mhm.
And I think how you can fix that is making sure you're getting out here and talking to people and understanding what is really going on. I mean, like you and I get out here and talk to some of these 300,000 Black women that are unemployed,
Yeah.
and start to understand I'm not unemployed or without my business, and I need to be grateful for that.
But
And
here's
I
the
think,
thing, some of those were probably complaining and were the ones on these surveys talking about they quiet cracking.
Well, a lot of them, and they said this, because of such the run through of government jobs, and we held a lot of government jobs. That was one area we tended to go into, especially
Just
the boomers.
services.
Um,
Yeah.
so especially the boomer generation.
Mm-hmm.
You
That
know,
was a good job. That was a
right. And so, that's why it's so many, in that particular demographic, because that industry really, got a rinse here, this year. So,
mhm.
I think that's a lot of it. But I think it's all perspective. And, it's one of these things you have to keep it in perspective. A lot of this year we've been working 6 days a week. And I was telling one of my coworkers that really started to complain about it. And I was like, well, the production line is on 7 days, right? So, keep it in perspective, right?
Mhm.
You know, and a lot of people are in this boat, like the article, right? So,
Mhm.
you've got to keep the right perspective to be able to run on, right? And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us, back to our book from last year, just don't have the mental toughness that we need, you know, to run on. A lot of us just don't have that mental fortitude, the mental stamina, the mental toughness, to endure some of these, more challenging times in our career. And it, I, looking at it, it really saddens me, because I just feel like people don't really have the tools that they need, in this scenario to be successful. And it's
Mm.
sad.
No, and I think it's a crisis. Like not
Yeah.
to shift completely. We'll try to stay somewhat here, but again, I think this is real. Like if you think you quiet crack it and you think, "Woe is me," I would even go through an exercise of, you know, taking a sheet of paper, splitting it down the middle, and writing what are the great things around your job or career, and what are the not so great things, and getting out of that delusion, because sometimes you can like talk to your group and you have people that's building that up and feeding into that and like, oh, they shouldn't do that, they're doing you so wrong, and then you end up like this girl. She's sitting on the curb, right, with her sign, need work, and her stuff in the box.
Yeah. I agree. You have to keep things in perspective. And with with any career, there's gonna be ebbs and flows. If you've been, in an industry for years, I mean, there's gonna be ebbs and flows. And you've got to be ready to deal with the ebbs and flows. I call it feast and famine. In our job, my career right now, we're in feast, and
Mm,
we're trying to hang on till we can get to famine, right? And but when I'm in famine, there's things you need to be doing to prepare again for feast. And
development. That's your time to develop.
yeah, and I think, and I just had this conversation with actually one of our early careers, because they were kind of like, well, hey, when I started they started in famine, right? So they're like, hey, what's going on here? We're in feast now, and I mean this isn't what I signed up for, right? Well, I mean, you started
Well,
in
you should be
famine.
happy because again, like you're working. Like if you just
Well,
put
they
a
just don't look at it. I mean, a lot of them just don't look at it that way.
yeah, if you look
Um,
around, like at least you're
yeah.
not with an organization that actually is having to cut projects and push projects back to 2029. That's some of that is going on as well.
Oh
And
wow.
so when you're seeing, especially like here, I'm in Michigan, Motor City, right, in the automotive industry. So when you see that, again, like there's whole departments and things, they're not really going to need them.
Oh
So we're
wow.
not 29, that's 4 years. And see, that's where some of the cuts are going to come, right? And some of the people haven't even caught on to be, again, when you start, like those are the cues and markers you listen for. Some haven't caught on. They still do. They haven't updated a resume, haven't updated LinkedIn, nothing. Like those are your cues. So
Right.
what are you gonna do with us? Like that's what you should be asking. Like if this project has been put on hold, baby, you on hold. If that was like a main, project that you
Bread
or
and
your
butter. Yeah.
like gonna be working on, then again you gotta like wisen up here.
Yeah. And I think it's really thinking that through and understanding, the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, and understanding that all things have seasons, even your career,
Definitely, even in entrepreneurship, like
Mhm.
and like you have to caution yourself because you have those times where you've been praying for things, and I think you have to like reflect back on those things and be grateful because energy is everything as well.
Yeah.
You know, like I did payroll last because I pay monthly. I did payroll last month. And I actually was excited. Like I was getting pumped when I was sitting here, hitting send. And I know some other people would be like, "Oh man, I can't believe the payroll is that," you know, because it's more than some people pulled in a month, right? And I had to remember, like in the early days, like I was praying to be able and trying to figure out, okay, I need how many clients to be able to bring this in a month. Like I was praying to be able to bring that in as revenue. And now I'm in a
And
position where
now
I'm
you're sending it out. Yeah.
payroll, right? And so again, it's about perspective.
It is. That's so
It's
true.
about perspective, right? And you have to be grateful and thankful for the journeys along the way
That's
and
so
the
true.
lessons that come along with it. And unfortunately, like I said, I think sometimes people, again, they can get around the wrong crowds. They can get, with those people that have the stinking thinking,
Yeah.
as Zig Ziglar would say, and they kind of pull you into this negative thinking and negative talk where
Yeah.
you end up manifesting things like that lady, sitting on the curb with her basically open to work sign,
Yeah.
right? And so, you got to be careful about that. You really
Yeah, you
do.
do.
And in today's day and age, especially with folks not, I see a lot of people not wanting to really use their mind, their brain in some of these jobs. Like they want to just be robotic. Just tell me what to do. I'll do it. And there's no place for that.
Mm-mm.
Like that's useless to an organization. No one needs that. Again, because we can replace that with AI technology, right?
Yeah.
Or to use your context clues. But these people, I see them doing crazy stuff. Some of it has been done to me. Like they will send their, again, like I think early on, like I remember being taught, like never go to your boss with a question without a solution or suggestion. It's okay to ask questions, but you want to have researched to see what some of the possibilities are so you can present to them. Hey, I ran into this issue. I actually did some research, or I was talking to so and so, and they were telling me that like a couple years ago this happened, and then they were able to do X, Y, Z. Like, is that a solution? So now they have something to choose from. But I've had somebody send me a question, and then they sent me like a policy. I don't have time to read that stuff. Are you serious?
Mm.
So like, no, like you're gonna use your brain. Like we're gonna exercise your muscles, your brains and your knowledge, right? But again, like I think some people just want to be checked out and just push a button. And
Yeah.
there's no place for that. There's no place
No.
for that right now, you know, because we are in the technology age. But I think we're actually getting ready to shift to a whole new era, right? So people
Right.
that are just now starting to get on that phase, um, I don't know. I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I think so too. I
Yeah,
think so too.
yeah. So, do you think you've ever been in a quiet cracking mode?
No, I don't think so. I do a lot um with gratitude. I have a gratitude journal I write in daily, and I have written in for the last 5 years. I'm on my third one, and um, it's just been life changing for me, and it really has helped me to keep a fresh perspective. I started it during COVID, and it really helped me through that time. I saw a lot of people in my same position that actually ended up having a nervous breakdown.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, because they were the level we were working. Because I mean, we were on round the clock rock at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And my son was in middle school, and he was being homeschooled. It was virtual school.
Mm.
And so, I had a running joke during that time. My running joke was, I always thought about being an engineer, and I thought about being a stay-at-home mom, but I never thought about doing both at the same time, right? And so
Yeah.
everybody would just laugh. But a lot of people were under a lot of stress, and they buckled under the pressure. And I
Yeah.
really do believe, huh?
No, I'm saying, yeah.
So I really do believe that my gratitude journal, and just the process of that really helped me a lot. I got so many opportunities during that time. I got one of the biggest career opportunities of my life during COVID, at a time when I could have told them no thanks. Like, I didn't need the extra work. I'm catching hell right now, right? I've got my son at home. I'm doing, but we got through it, and I got to work on a super cool project that I'll be able to
That's good.
be proud of the rest of my career. So yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't know what's happened with this generation or younger generation and the world. Because I can't even just put it on them, because it's some of the older ones, like my
Yeah.
age and above, too, that, again, just the delusion. And one thing I will say is everybody likes the glory. They like the glitz and the glam, right?
Yeah.
They like to see the success. And one of the things that I've been reminded of, because I'm in the midst of it now, and like, again, some of my friends, people close to me that are like, I can see them on an upward trajectory. Like, we've been hitting it this year, but I can see like where you can feel that you get to a point where you begin to feel the shift, like, you moving, right?
Yeah.
Like a
You
move,
can feel the momentum.
and that there's going to be some movement, and that kind of, like, I started to get nervous, because I always know it comes. God comes through like the feds and do a whole sweep. Like, people start dropping, like it manifests in the form of people, in personal life, in um, professional, like with my team. And but now I'm less. I get less nervous about it, because I
Okay.
understand the pattern, and I understand, like, yeah, some of those people, like, they're not a fit for that next level.
Yeah. Hmm.
So we gotta, kind of shake them out. Um, and then other adversities, like the craziest things begin to start happening, right? That could really just throw you off. They could get you, and again, it may be completely unrelated, but it's done to throw you off mentally or in spiritually, to get you fixated on this woe is me. Why is this
Yeah.
happening to me? type of mentality, or to to knock you down to think like less than, right?
Right.
Because and that's when you know you're right on that
Cusp.
cusp.
Uh-huh. Yep. So
That's when you
true.
know it's coming, right?
Yep.
And I'm telling you, and it's been stronger and stronger. Like I woke up having to pray for one of my friends. Like I woke up now. I'm like my grandma now. Like it's funny because like again, when you're a kid, you hear them talk and you don't understand. Like
Right.
I woke up this morning and God put your mind to start. I had to go to war. I had to go to battle. But like for one of my friends, I was, I don't know. I just felt the need to pray for him on my heart for protection, for God
Okay.
to protect him, shielding his protection and stuff. And then later that day, I found out like he had been arrested. Like
Oh wow.
like he's kind of being harassed, right?
Oh
Because
wow.
like yes, a few times from these people. And out, he got out right away. But
Oh
again,
good. Okay.
also, you have to understand sometimes too, like when these situations and scenarios occur, because he's like now, like he's doing something about it now, and he also
Right.
has the means to do something about it. Because
That's
like
great.
you're gonna find is that these two officers have a pattern. Like you're gonna find
Oh,
a pattern,
okay.
right? And I have something that happened to me like last month. Like I haven't spoken widely about it because I'm dealing with it behind the scenes. But again, like I have to be an example
Right.
in or make an example, right? But I realized instead of being like, why did this happen? Well, I had that moment. Why did it happen to me? And then God showed me why, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had already walked through something like that when I was a teenager, and walked through it successfully. And there have been times when God has used me to be a voice and to create change because
Okay.
it involves like some discriminatory practices or what have you
Okay.
with law enforcement for me, right? With me, this happened to me. It's like that was one of those you done effed up now, right? Because I
Oh
even
wow.
I tell the officer I'm gonna have to sue. I did curse. I said I'll sue the fuck of y'all, but I again because I know and I understand that likely they're probably them because I'm going to push them right to do the investigation. I want to see data. I want to see numbers, right? Because men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And what we're
Right.
likely going to see is there's been a pattern of a certain
Yeah.
demographic of people that have been targeted and subjected to the behavior that I was. But they get them so scared and nervous, and because they don't know who they are or whose they are, when they tell them, "Oh, okay, you can go, you're free to go," like they just scurry off because they're like shocked and like, "Oh my god!" Like I'm just happy that nothing more came of it. Um, and like I said, I have the resources and knowledge to take it far, and I'm gonna take it far. And so it will likely result in those individuals probably losing their job. But more importantly, it will create change.
Right.
And it's right up my alley, right? Because again, with the HR whisperer, it's fitting. Like now I understand it, right? Because it wasn't fine. It shook me a little bit for a few moments, right? Initially when it occurred. But then as I started to understand and God started to show me and bring to my remembrance, like, remember, you went through this situation and, and how that shook out and it resulted in change being made and happened,
Right.
within that organization. And so again, so like you'll have moments like that when especially when you're on that cusp
That's
of
true.
shifting,
Yeah.
right? Because the other alternative is for you to shrink and go within
Right.
and to feel like, is there something I did to bring this on myself? Is there something, I should have done differently?
Right.
And no,
Right.
no, it's just again, it's some other factors and things that may have been going on in that instance. And so, like I always tell people, look, I'm no Martin, I'm no Malcolm, but I know that I am appointed and I'm anointed to do what it is that I do. And I know this is how God uses me. Like
Right.
I'm no, preacher or what have you, but he has been able to use me to bring about change, to be a voice to
Right.
speak up and to really create and make that change and to right wrongs for generations in some cases. And so again, so you have to just be in tune with those things. And sometimes again on these jobs, like it can be disheartening and disenchanting. And I will be very transparent and honest, especially for those seeking upward mobility. Oftentimes, and this is my opinion, these are not the thoughts or opinions of Jazz the Life Engineer. This is the HR whisperer, right? But when I speak, I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I've experienced and what I have seen with my own eyes. Oftentimes, what I have seen for a person of color, a black person, I'm not going to water it down, for a black person in America, when we have gotten these opportunities, a lot of times they're mission impossible opportunities. And that's why they give them to you, because they don't even expect you to succeed in it.
Right.
They give it to you because nobody else has been able to turn this organization around. Nobody else has been able to come in and make this organization profitable. No one else has been able to make this product successful. No one else has been able to merge or combine these organizations. So you get thrown these opportunities that no one else wants, and they don't want to put their mentees and things in because they understand the pressures and things that come along with it. And oftentimes, again, that's where that mindset shift has to really take
Yeah.
place. And you have to have a strong mindset. And that's where, again, I think the spirituality comes into play. And again, and that's who I'm speaking to, because if you're an atheist, you don't believe, I don't have nothing for you. Like, I don't even know how to even direct or guide you in that. But like, no, I'm just being straight up. Because again, half the stuff, more than half, everything that I have, everything I've done has been because of God.
Yeah.
Everything that I did, I just had an incident last week. Again, these things that, like, when I was in my early 20s, like, again, I had to go back to my remembrance that I had been put through before with somebody meant for a setup. God showed his glory, right? And they sitting there tight faced and red in the face, right? But it was an opportunity for me to shine.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't because the Holy Spirit came in and took over. And okay. And see, and people will be like, how did you get that? Like, oh my God, how did you get that done? Because again, they didn't expect that you were going to be able to
Yeah.
achieve. And so the reality is, there is some validity, because I don't want to remove all validity. There is some validity to those feelings of like all that pressure being on you, because it is. Because sometimes you're being put in those mission impossible scenarios.
Right.
But it's also an opportunity for God to shine and show his glory, right? And if you have a relationship with him and and you give him his glory and you understand it's not me because I'm so grandiose, but it's because of who's in me,
Right.
that they can't mess with me. There's nothing no man or no woman can do to stop the assignment on my life. And you are going to succeed regardless.
That's right.
But you got to lean on that and you got to go within with that. But, again, like I said, I do want to give some validity. There may be times where you do feel that extra pressure. You just feel like they're just loading project after project
Yeah.
and thing after thing. And sometimes that is happening. Like, I'm not going to water that down. Sometimes that is happening. And is it right? Not necessarily. But that's where you got to seek for yourself. Is this an
Right.
opportunity for me to grow? for me to show and for me to be promoted even that much more. Where, because sometimes he creates those situations where people have to stand back and say, like, nobody else could have done that.
Right.
I don't know how she got that done. Where everybody's in amazement,
Right.
even yourself,
Right.
even you.
Yep.
Okay. So I say that, I share that as a word of encouragement, to not falter under the pressure, to not be like everyone else. When everyone else is complaining at the quote unquote water cooler or on the group chats and things like that, be set apart.
Right.
Be set apart. Know that your path is different. Know that you have a different trajectory.
Yep.
And don't fall into that. Because again, some of the things that people will like start speaking to you and have you repeating, you'll start manifesting it, and it's not even a reality.
Yeah. And they put you in a bad loop.
And when it starts showing up physically in your life, you'll wonder, like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Right? Like, I know a group who, again, like their membership, their union or whatever, was telling the people to send these letters. And that's like, I would never even speak that stuff over my life, saying that they can't afford to live, they can't afford gas, they can't afford all this stuff. And I know that's not some of the people's reality that was sending that stuff. So you got to be careful with that. Right? Because they're trying to do a PR thing. These people are, again, they have selfish motives. They're on a political PR thing. But you actually writing that, speaking that into existence over your life, you got to be careful. Because then when your money starts stretching as far and you start wondering what's going on, like things are tight. Because the actual reality of it is gas has gone down. The price of groceries actually have gone down. Now, I know the Democrats and other groups, they're telling you the stuff is still high, but this is where you got to use your critical thinking in your own sight, and you got to go look and see for yourself. So again, that's another way that, like, again, when people are just repeating this rhetoric to you and you're speaking that stuff into your life, is it actually reality? Right. And so now you're moving in a world disadvantaged when there's so much opportunity, and you're missing out on the opportunities because you're focused on and creating this false disadvantage.
Yeah.
When you're not, like, you really could be capitalizing on some of the stuff. And that's the same thing like in these jobs. Like, again, the company, even in business, like when it's busy, you got to be careful and not complaining, because again, you got to remember, oftentimes many of us, we prayed for that time. We prayed,
so true,
and cried and just, and so then when it comes, you can't be complaining. Like, oh, like I got to work on, 7 days a week on the weekend and, and all this kind of stuff, right? And then you're not even working a full day. Like maybe you're taking your laptop out for 15, 30 minutes and doing some stuff. Like someone told me today, she just discovered that, no, she can work 7 days a week. Like she can, like just, again, and that's what it ends up being. Like a Saturday or Sunday, 15, 30 minutes just on her laptop, doing a little bit of work, right? But keeping things going and keeping the momentum going, but at the same time, she's traveling the world while she's doing it. So again, you can't get yourself in these predicaments and in these binds where you're just focused on so much negativity.
Right.
Do you have anything else about the quiet quitting that you want to say?
Oh, quiet cracking? Nope.
Okay. Um, I did find this video. I want your reaction to, so I'm going to try to share it. Let me. Why are you smiling?
Oh boy.
Why are you laughing?
I
So,
already know.
Janir has not seen this one. Okay, let's back it all the way up. Okay, because we're going to have, hold on, let's get past the commercial stuff. I'm still learning my production skills here.
Okay.
All right. So this, I'm going to show you guys, this is actually Anton Daniels of the Millionaire Morning Show. Yeah, check him out. I watch him sometimes. I think he actually gives some really good commentary, political commentary, as well as financial literacy
Okay.
data. And he's right from Michigan, right from Detroit, actually, Detroit proper. And so he did a reaction to, before his reaction, I want to pause because I want us to have some conversation. And sometimes I don't always agree with everything that he says, but he did a reaction to this lady who went online and shared some information that she really hates working even though she's broke. Right. So I guess it was actually a couple different people, women, that were sharing that they're quitting in the middle of layoffs. All right.
Wow.
So, yeah, hear what's going on here.
Having to text your manager that you're going to be late because you're taking your daughter to her first day of school and there was a lot of things going on. It's just like, it's almost like you're a child. And like, it should just be fine to be late. Like, it literally should just be fine to be late unless it's affecting others. But I have to call and I have to check in with somebody and let them know that I'm going to be late when I'm doing something perfectly reasonable. I'm getting my daughter to her first day of school. I'm making sure that her father has the car tag so that when he picks her up, they know that she belongs to him. I shouldn't have to check in and let someone know about that. And then I miss all day with my kids to come in here and earn not even a living. And I missed all that time. I can't even take off to go have lunch with my kid. Like, I can't even, by the time I get home, I'm so drained, I can't even enjoy my kid. And like, I just wonder what that does to our children psychologically, you know? And we talk about it a lot on this app. Like, why didn't our parents try harder to level up for us to have a better life? Like, a lot of our parents fucked off, and I'm seeing how I'm repeating that cycle because I'm at this dead-end job. I'm not respected. I'm not looked after. Nobody gives a shit. And I'm giving my time for money just to be able to pay bills, not to have anything extra. And I got to check in with somebody just to be able to take my daughter to school on the first day. I live an hour or so away from this place. An hour here in an hour.
Yo, all week.
Okay, because I can tell Anton's about to go in, right? So I want to have some conversation. Like, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I
reserve mine for later. My commentary.
Yeah, I think that it's really frustrating to me. I understand not wanting to miss those moments with your children, and I pride myself on never missing those moments. But there's sacrifices and there's cost to that. And I made sure that I paid those sacrifices and costs to ensure that I could go to Muffins with Mom. I could, be there for first day of school, be a chaperone for field day and the field trips. But it's configuring your life the way that you need to be present, the way you want to for your kids. So I heard a lot of why I can't, right? And she needs to get into a thought process of how can I? And that's the biggest problem I see with a lot of people these days. They're very much in how I can't instead of how can I do it, right? And I live in a philosophy of how can I do it? And she really lost me on the parents. I am so sick of this. I don't know where this has come from. It's terrible. I'm so sick of this wanting to lay everything at the parents' feet about, not being already established. I mean, our parents fought battles and had demons to slay.
Like,
That
have
we
you heard
don't
a lot
even
of
have
that?
to think about, huh?
Have you heard a lot? I haven't heard a lot.
Yes, this is a major problem with people our age and younger. It's a major issue.
Well, but at
And
the same time, I guess we're jaded too, though, because our parents actually did like foundation. Because I
well,
never have had that thought, right? Like,
me either. I mean, I guess there were things that my parents taught me, and there were things that my parents instilled in me, and then there was also things that I had to get out and learn on my own, right? Where I had deficiencies and holes. But did I blame my parents for that? No, I went out and got the skills and the things I needed to do to take care of those deficiencies and holes instead of just saying what my parents should have done, And I don't know where that's coming from. I've been seeing it a lot lately. And what we have to understand is those earlier generations just had demons to slay and dragons to slay that we don't have any concept of. And we need to be grateful for our time, because there's no reason why we can't succeed now in our time. Everything is open. Everything is available. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. And if they had the opportunities that we have today, they wouldn't be able to sleep at night if they could make this level of money and have this level of opportunity, no holds barred, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so frustrating to me.
I can't even look at this child. Hold on, I got to get her off my screen because I can't even. Hold on.
I understand the thought process, and I understand the thought process with your children and the time, but you've got to realize and understand what's most important to you.
But here's the thing, though. They didn't say she couldn't. She's upset that she needed to let the accountability. She's upset about the accountability that she can't believe she didn't say she got reprimanded. She said, I can't believe that I have to let them know I'm going to be late. The F? Like, what? That's just being an adult. Like, that's being a responsible adult. Yeah. Like the things we talked about a few episodes ago. Like, okay, it's okay if you have the planned vacation during the peak time, but then you line people up. Hey, that's what a responsible adult. But see, she probably doesn't plan anything. Yeah. And it probably was last minute. Yeah. But had to be on that Friday or Thursday, even better. Hey, Monday is first day of school. I want to drop my, little one off. I live an hour away. So I anticipate getting into the office later. I'll probably be in an hour or two later that morning. But I've lined Jill up with, everything. So she knows if some calls come in, she agreed to cover me for that. And then no one has a problem. And this child, she doesn't even she's coming out of this big corporate building. It's not like she's coming out of Burger King or something or McDonald's. So you can tell she got a decent job where she probably get to sit in air condition all day, sit and not be on her feet in front of the fry station. Right. And the way she's carrying on and complain. Now, I'm sorry, I worked that job, slipping and sliding, honey. Look. And the way she, when I was, I was at McDonald's when I was a teenager. Yeah. And had me in the trenches. And so I actually still have the uniform upstairs. It's in my carpet, and so I brought it here. But The way that this girl was complaining, coming up out that building, like for real, are you serious?
Yeah, but yeah, it's a major issue.
And then the other piece is that women say they're quitting in the middle of layoff. And see, these are the same people because they're so slow. They think they can get unemployment. Heifer, you can't. You quit your job. You don't qualify for unemployment.
What?
If
They
you
think they
quit,
could get unemployment if they quit?
they be, I'm telling you, confused. If you quit or if you are fired because of breaking a policy for something that
What?
you've done, you do not qualify for unemployment. Unless you're with a company that they don't respond, that you got HR people that aren't doing their job and they just don't respond to the
When you
claims.
apply, right?
Yeah. But when you fill out that info, if you answer the questions honestly, it's going to automatically knock you off the system because I think it's on the computer now, right?
Yeah.
It used to be a call because, like here in Michigan, it was Marvin. So we used to give people a one pager and they would have to call Marvin because, again, when I was in automotive, like we would have periods where we would have shutdowns or layoffs for like a week or two. And so our people, they qualified for unemployment for that period of time, right? So we would train them on how to call, get set up with to bring us or whatever, because we also supplemented like the difference between what they got paid for unemployment and then contractually
What
we
they
had.
usually made, yeah.
Yeah, we would make up the difference. And so, but no, if you are let go from a job, you would be surprised the number of people that don't know this. So that's why people be like, I'm just gonna quit. I'll just quit and go and get unemployment. No, like you don't qualify unless you lie. And now we're talking you're defrauding the government, right? Which is very dangerous because now people are still going to jail and being locked up over that PPP stuff.
Yeah.
You know, trying to be slick on that. But and the sad part about it with that attitude, they probably were happy. The boss probably was relieved when she said, like, oh, I'll quit. Today is my last day. Because can you imagine having to try to manage that?
Yeah.
That attitude and the constant complaining and the constant just, oh,
Well, it's just the level of entitlement that people have nowadays.
no, it's delusion. Like I can't even explain it in any other terms. It's delusion. It's a whole nother level of delusion. And again, you know, like when you look, like even the car she's in, you know, she got the sunroof popping. You can hear the bells and whistles going off, so you can tell it's a fairly new, decent car. Hell, it might even be a Tesla. Okay. So it's not like you live in a decent life, you know? And now you about to just chalk it up or give it up because you don't want to be accountable and plan ahead. Because again, she did not say that they said she
couldn't do it, yeah.
do it or could not come late, right? She said she could not believe she needed to check in with somebody like she was a kid. And you're like thinking of it wrong. It's respect. Like check in like an adult who is respectful to their colleagues and to their team.
Right.
Right. I remember like if I like sometimes I would be late. Well, oftentimes, a lot of times, or come later than the rest of the team. Maybe we get into the office. And like on a snow day, like here in Michigan, I know y'all don't have that. If it rained, y'all be crashing out, like literally crashing. But like we were driving on ice. Like our like have had coworkers, like they would, you know, because you always have, thank God for them nosy coworkers sometimes. Where's Clonetta? Where's Clonetta? They be putting out a search party. You know, you get a call. Clonetta, are you okay? Are you? coming into the office, like, yeah, I'm slipping and sliding on this highway, you know, I'll see you when I see you, and that's all people want to know. They're like, okay, well, take your time. Don't
Yeah.
run. It's really bad once you get down by the
So and
office.
so, yeah.
They be so nervous and stuff for you, right? Because again, most people aren't a-holes. Most people have a good heart and they care, right? And just want to make sure you're good. And so, yeah, but no, it's a respect thing. It's, you know,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see what the big deal is on that. We don't I don't work in a field where we have a set time to be to work. So we don't have to do that, but it's more of a thing where if we have meetings to support, right, and you're not going to be able to make those, it's up to you to be in place when you're supposed to be in place, right, for
yeah.
what you have going on. But that's a rare work environment. A lot of people don't have that. I mean,
But you always have, and then you always have your vacation and sick time too, right?
that's true.
So again, like, plan it ahead. I'm going to take a half day on Monday because again, this is so important to me.
Yep.
I want to get my child off to school, which is again, it's very important because you want to meet those teachers. You want to shake their hand and look them in the eyes so they know, like, it's a real parent
Yeah.
here who's
Yeah. That
involved.
I'm here. Don't play with me. Right.
Yeah, and see, that's important. That should be a
It is.
priority.
It
So
is.
again, there's ways that, and I'm sure, like, if you go talk to because sometimes again, you got nosy prosy. Oh, what are you doing? You're taking the morning out. What are you doing? And you
Hmm.
tell them, and then they might tell you, oh, you don't have to use your time for that. You can just make it up later in the week.
Yeah.
Again, but it's about communicating and it's about
Yeah.
being responsible, you know. But yeah, it's like I saw that, and there's more. I guess he has other. I didn't see the other ladies, but like I said, he ripped it to her, right? Because again, in this economy, too, he talked about the entitlement and stuff too.
Yeah.
Because that's, he's a very much about people being accountable for their actions and their life and their choices and things
Right.
like that. But again, like, I feel like I see this. I see it too often
Yeah.
nowadays, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's so, because I'm telling you, last year, again, this is not any article metrics or anything. This is my own Clonetta, the HR Whisperer data points and metrics. But last year, for professional roles and management and above mostly, I was tracking that it was taking people about 8 to 9 months to
Yikes.
leave another role. No, it's 12, 13 or more now
Yikes.
this year. Like, that's, yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So here again, and that's what makes it, I know some people are calling this summer the AI apocalypse. Actually, I actually know a lady who has a book coming out. That's the title. Like, it's doom and gloom, about AI taking over and displacing all these C-suite. I think she said average age 48, suburban people. But yeah, and that's what's kind of devastating again with the 300 Black women unemployed. Because again, like I said, some of them, this was them 4-6 months before they got displaced. This girl probably was them. Just talking
Yeah.
crazy, right? But now you out there, and like I said, and not everybody got it, even though Susie Orman was trying to tell y'all back in the day.
That's
Everybody don't have. That was my girl, man. Oh, every Saturday night. But sometimes, not everybody got that 12-month emergency fund.
No, they don't.
Okay. And so the money will run out before then.
Yeah, that's true. Mindset is everything though, and I would just challenge everyone to get clear and get the clarity, gain the clarity that they need to take control of their lives because
Yeah.
now is the time. It
Yeah.
truly is.
Be in the driver's seat and just
Right.
again, like I just feel like what a time to be alive. Like I
Yeah,
just think that again, like there's just so much opportunity.
it is so much.
It's so much opportunity. And
Yeah.
I'm thankful for my bubble. And I just want to stay in my little bubble.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
do.
I agree.
Again, I'm thankful. Like I was in meetings Friday with this group that I'm added to my network and no, and I was sharing with them, I was like, everybody's thriving. Like I love this because like everybody's thriving. They have business. Like again, the conversation is different
Yeah.
and busier than they can stand. Those
Yeah.
were the conversations like, oh, it's really busy now. Because again, like for many of them, they're used to like the summers, being able to have a slow summer, doing all this travel. But business has been like businessing. Like it has been busy, right? Almost to the point of like I've been almost exhausted, and I've had to
Right.
like I'm sick now. And I know that's just a symptom of me not fully taking care of myself, your immune system.
Yeah.
And you gotta so then your body forces you to have to
Slow down. Yeah.
yeah, much needed rest and stuff like that.
Yep.
But again, I'm thankful because I
Yeah.
understand the alternative.
That's it.
I understand what the alternative could be,
That's
you know.
it.
And look, so these Ferraris and Lambos ain't gonna buy themselves. So
No, that's right.
looks, you gotta be in it to win it, honey.
That's
Again,
it.
if you want certain things in life, and now I gotta get well for Friday because I got um an event I'm excited about. I'm excited here in Michigan. Like I don't have to go all the way to Miami, but I'm excited. Michigan's trying to do it big. I hope they don't disappoint me. But
Okay.
the Ferrari of Detroit is hosting an event,
Okay.
a night in Monaco.
Oh wow.
Yeah, look, summer chic. Look, some European. The attire is European summer chic. I said, okay, I see you. I got you. Look, I got the outfit already. Was able to pull something from my closet that I can fit in now.
All right.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So I got to go shopping in my own closet. I didn't have to go buy no new outfit or anything. And it actually fits and fits well.
All
So I'm
right.
looking crazy. So I'm excited. What?
I'm not looking crazy.
No, I'm telling you, it matters.
It
It
does.
it matters. I'm telling you, because you can be out here, look, you can be in something.
That is something.
We can spread. I'm in there. I was able to get in it, but does it look right?
Yeah.
Is it fitting right? You know. So yeah. So like I said, I'm excited for that, and I don't even have to get on the plane. And
Right.
so yeah. So I'm ready to see what Michigan looks. Michigan to show me what they working with. What they
All
can do.
right.
Yeah. So what do you have going on the horizon?
Nothing much right now. We do have some courses coming up. We're going to be beta testing soon, but um, nothing right now in the short term.
Okay. All right. Very good. And we're still, again, with doing our HR whispering. Like I said, we own that now. They can't mess
Yay!
with us. And my J Barbie, they can't. So we got that complete. Like this year, our whole restructuring these companies, brought on some new team members that are phenomenal. They can rock with me, rocking at the pace. Like again, it's just everything. Like everybody got motion, like in the right motion,
That's the key.
And
That is the key.
No, it really is. It makes a
Yeah,
world of difference.
it
We still
does.
have the VA services where we're staffing from South
Awesome.
America, from Africa. We opened up Africa fourth quarter of last year, and that's been going pretty decent. And just looking to, again, this year has been flying by fast. Looking to
It
close the year
has.
strong. It's already August.
I
A few
know.
weeks it'll be September. Yeah, so
Yeah.
4 months, 4 months,
Yeah.
4 months left in the year.
Yep.
So begin to focus on what you're gonna do over these next 4 months. How are you gonna close the year out strong? Like
Yes.
you hit your goals, your personal goals, your business goals. I'm on maybe my third personal health goal.
All
I keep
right.
doing it in chunks, right? Because then again, I think it keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
So I think I'm on my last, and then I'm going to calm it down. But again, it's like it all aligns. It
Yeah.
all comes full circle and what have you. I am at some point going to do the Gunna challenge.
Okay.
I'm gonna challenge myself to do the workout thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, what McCall was doing the other
Yeah.
day.
That takes some endurance again, like the strength, right? To be
Mhm.
able to, hold yourself. Yeah. So I'm gonna actually do that. I'm actually
Okay. Okay.
I'm telling you. But no, thank you guys for another episode of HR Blunders.
Yes. Thank you so much. Truly enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And we're out.
All right. Yay.
HR blunders, they'll laugh, they'll inspire. Two sisters on fire, lifting the empire.